We had close family friends. They were pregnant with a baby. They went in to have tests to see if the baby had any genetic defects or problems. And when they found out that the baby could be born with problems, they contemplated abortion. And our family stood up and said, that's not right. You have to love the baby no matter what, and it's a person. And they had the baby, and now they love that kid, and it's amazing how the turnaround was. They're grateful that every day that they have him. And even when the child was born with special needs, me and my brother and my sister, we were like, it's okay, we'll play with them. We'll make that child feel comfortable. I don't even notice that he's different. It was a very important issue, and I'm glad that me and my family stood up and said that, because now there's another person in the world. It's not just like saying that, hey, that's not right, but I'll help you. I'll help you through it. I'll help you try to understand. Basically, it's support. You have to take action. My family and I, actually, we have quite a few friends who, they have children with special needs, and we go over their house, we play with them, and once you actually get to know them, it's amazing. They're the coolest people. Underneath like all their problems, it's just, they're a person just like you and me. And I think what society and our culture needs to look at is beyond the people's disabilities and beyond everything. We need to just see that they're a person and they need to be respected. And after it all, I realized that no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what kind of disabilities you may or may not have, we all mean something. We're all important. We're all put on the earth for a purpose, and we're all God's children.
I can imagine it took a lot of courage for Charlotte and her family to stand up and speak out against abortion.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, abortion is one of those life issues which stirs up some of the most heated debates.
It is one of the topics which touch the lives of young people most personally, because abortion is very real to us.
So have you guys ever been in a position where you felt compelled to or actually did speak out in defense of any life issue?
Yeah, I was in my US2 class, and we were talking about court cases, Supreme Court cases, and we were talking about Roe v. Wade, and the whole class was pro-abortion, and I was the only one who was on the other side, and I said, well, you know, it's really a life, and it felt really upsetting to me because my heart sank to the floor. I still remember it, and I instantly prayed to be able to defend and be able to be strong enough to stand up for what I believed in.
I've had the same situation where I had to stand up, where at my school there is no life club. So this year I started it, and we're now promoting life in my school through chastity and all other forms of life from conception to death.
I went on the March for Life this past year, and 2 years before that, and this year I went with my Aunt Rosie, and it's nice to be with a bunch of people that are you know, rooting for the same thing that I am, and it felt really good.
You know, my thing isn't as big a scale as a march or a rally, but like at school we have these things called peer groups, and I run one, and it's just for the freshmen to help them adjust to the school and feel like they're a part of the culture of our school, and so they don't, you know, get involved in the wrong things or hang out with people who are not making the greatest decisions.
Yeah, I know after reading Sister Mary Prejean's book, Dead Man Walking, and watching the movie, I became more compelled to actually act out on my beliefs, because she, as a nun, went to the prisons to actually speak to the man on death penalty, and at that time that was a big deal. And after seeing her do that, I'm like, I can do the same thing too.
The following is another excerpt from the U.S. Bishop's pamphlet on respecting life.
A rich young man asked Jesus, "What good must I do to gain eternal life?" Jesus replied to that, "One must learn to love God and love your neighbor as yourself."
This is the model God has given us, a model of love and solidarity with those entrusted to our care and those we meet on the way.
By witnessing this model in our own lives, by holding fast to the moral truths preserved by our faith,
and going out of ourselves for others, we can inspire others to do the same.
And help build a world where human life is always loved and defended, every form of violence banished.
Next, Charlotte tells us what she thinks building a culture of life means,
and how she hopes to inspire others and help build and support culture of life as an obstetrician.
To me, building a culture of life means living as Jesus would, being kind to everyone around you and respecting yourself and other people, like treating others right, educating people on the issues of like abortion and euthanasia and even the environment, because we have to take care of everything. Living the way, Jesus would want you to live, because hopefully that would reflect onto another person. They'd say, hey, look how they're acting, and everyone would start to realize that life is very special and shouldn't be taken for granted. You have to respect yourself. It starts with you, because once you treat and respect yourself, other people will see that and they'll say, hey, I'm gonna do that. That's cool, to respect yourself and carry yourself with like the confidence that God gave you. You have to also treat everybody else right, and then it would just all like come together. I want to look into being as an obstetrician, and a lot of my friends are like, wait, what is that? I'm like, it's a baby doctor, because life intrigues me, like everything about it. As an obstetrician, I'm witnessing the start of someone's life. I'm there at the beginning. I just find that very beautiful. It's the miracle of life. Even though like so many babies are aborted every year, like every day, just to know that right in front of me there's a new life, it's just amazing. I want to also be able to educate people more on the issues, not just abortion, also euthanasia, the death penalty, even especially caring for yourself, caring about others. I want to be an example like to everybody else, and I want people to say like, hey, look how she's living, I want to live like that, and it's almost like starting a trend. That's what I want to do.
I think it's really cool that Charlotte wants to be an obstetrician, because that's like a lot of years of school and a lot of things that you need to know to make sure that she delivers the healthy babies.
Exactly. So what plans do you guys have now and in the future to help build a culture of life?
Chastity speakers, they really intrigue me, like especially Jason Everett. Just the stuff he does is absolutely amazing. And there's a lot of times when you're at his talks, like kids that you would never think would get touched about this stuff are just like, they're in tears at what they had done, and like they're just like so alive for this new life. When you're a chastity speaker, you're solving the problem at its basis, where for abortion really, and when people start disrespecting that life because they don't take sex as something sacred anymore. So
I know my mom always talked about adopting kids from impoverished countries, and growing up, I always thought about that, and I think it would be a great idea to take in kids who don't have like that parental guidance, and teach them and let them know that someone loves them.
Yeah, I think for the future, I would want to study theology and continue to be a youth minister, so that way I could teach like teenagers about their culture and their religion, and important things like respecting yourself, respecting life, keeping yourself chaste for yourself and for your future spouse.
Yeah, I would like to be a prep teacher or a CCD teacher for basically the same reasons, to help others learn and to help them.
I really want to go into the field of engineering, and one of the fields of that is environmental engineering. And what they do is they come up with ways to power or build things, but being environmentally friendly. And we also have to remember that our environment is part of life. God created the environment and our surroundings, so we also have to respect that as well. So I think that can really help out the environment, is respecting life.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's one thing that's important with my family. My dad's always like, turn off the lights, you'll conserve energy, you'll help the environment in the long run. For me, I'm looking into business or computer science, and those fields can help in the future, business, selling like environment-friendly printers, technology, stuff like that.
I have no idea what I want to do, but hopefully I'll do something that will help create a better culture of life for our generation and generations to come after us. The U.S. Bishop website article titled "Life is a Miracle" states that
laws that permit or promote abortion, infanticide, human cloning,
destructive embryo research, or physician-assisted suicide ignore the sanctity of each human life
and undermine the foundation of a just and healthy society. As citizens and people of faith,
each of us should actively advance our convictions in the public square in every legitimate and ethical way.
We should rededicate ourselves to upholding the sanctity of human life and hold those elected to represent us to the same standard.
Next, we see how the teens on the street think the world would be different if we built a culture of life,
and what their faith teaches them about this.